Let's just keep going.
Time was not the charm.
For shit's sakes. Okay, so we're going to do this a fourth time. Gotta love cameras, batteries, all the things.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tyler Johnston with Johnston Realty and a really bad cameraman.
I'm Brandi Sorensen with Johnston Realty, and this is your Converse County market update for the week of May 18th.
Fourth time, or is this fifth time? This is fifth time. Anyway.
I don't know.
Lost track. So if you're thinking of buying and selling in Glenrock, Rolling Hills, Douglas, hell, even Casper, Evansville, bar none, Mills, whatever, make sure you reach out to us. We'd be happy to give you a no obligation price opinion, tell you what your home is worth and what's going on in the market, even if you're just thinking about it. And if you're looking to buy, we can help you with that too, because we've got agents everywhere that'll help.
Yes.
So what is going on?
All right, for Converse County, surprise, so far this month, we do have 4 months of inventory. Last month, it was 3.4, so it is extending a little bit. We have a few more on the market, but it is still technically a seller's market. It is stabilizing, moving towards a stable market.
I like the even market.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's better for everybody because it still gives sellers, they're selling, they don't have to discount things, but it gives buyers a chance to actually look. They don't have to,
write the offer within 20 minutes of walking through the home.
Yep. They can compare homes, so.
Yeah. And there's a little bit more negotiation.
Yeah.
I think people are still getting
pretty
close to what they want.
But they don't have to just accept everything the way it is.
Yeah, it used to be, this is it, you want it or not.
Yep.
Yeah. So, nice.
Yep. So as far as prices go, the median price on the market right now is $320,000 with an average of $366,000. Year to date, January to May 21st, homes sold so far this year is 56, but last year was 82. So we are down 32%. We did have a really slow start beginning of this year.
That's a lot to be down.
Yeah, it's been very interesting. However, the price stability is pretty stable. Median price sold so far this year is $260,000. That's just a 5% adjustment from last year. Mm-hmm. So again, it's a stabilizing market. Prices are pretty stable. We are coming into more to catch up, but it's not super crazy hot that made it so rough. So that's what I have. What's your thoughts?
It's one of those, like I said, I like the fact that people aren't so rushed when I'm representing a buyer and you've got to make a decision right then and there. Because sometimes, like you said, they're trying to weigh and compare, but if one is just edging it out a little bit, they got to do it real fast.
Yeah.
So I think it gives buyers a chance to feel more comfortable with their decisions.
Right.
Sellers, like I said, I still think that you're getting pretty close to the list price.
Right.
But you are negotiating a little bit on the repairs or the types of repairs.
Yes.
It's not just roofs and termites and those
detrimental things.
Yeah. It's like,
if things aren't working,
what about the window trim or maybe some carpet allowance? And I've seen some come on recently where even as it comes on, they're automatically offering that carpet allowance to help people out. So
speaking of, do you think, I know this is different people's opinions, but do you think it's better to give a carpet allowance or to replace the carpet? I know it depends also, I think, on the actual situation, but
I think it depends on the situation, but I also think, I don't know, I have bought a home where the carpet was destroyed. Mm-hmm. So I really loved the fact that my wife and I could go to the store, pick out the carpet that we wanted. Mm-hmm. And of course, that just pissed everybody off, including my mom, who was the agent, because she's, you can't pick white carpet.
Oh.
Well, we sure can, and we did.
Yeah.
And when we sold it, we regretted it. But hey,
Yeah.
we still got to
Enjoy the one
take
that you
that
want.
ownership. And that was just one other extra step where it was our new home, but we were getting to make it ours
Yeah. Yeah.
right away. It wasn't we're going to wait, we're going to save, and then
Yeah.
going to eventually, that was something. So I like the fact that people can go and pick.
Right.
So what do you think?
I get that as well, but it also depends on the house and if everything else looks good. But your carpets look,
Mm-hmm.
even just real old, and carpets don't stay forever. I think it may be worth it to just put something in that's neutral
That's neutral.
because it shows better people, and it depends on your market. I am amazed at how many people cannot see the potential.
Yeah, they can't visualize, and that
I
is
am a
hard
see the
sometimes.
potential
Mm-hmm.
type of person, but so many people cannot see the potential. And they just subconsciously, and sometimes they don't even put a finger on it. Well, it was because the carpet was dirty or yucky or had a hole in it or whatever. Yeah, but like that's easy fix. We just ask for that. But if they're not understanding that or can't put a finger on it, then they don't even offer.
Well, that's what one of my favorite stories with my mom was. She had a very close friend, and they were looking at houses over and over, and she's like, Judy, just none of these are what we want. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And she's like, okay. Well, then so a house came on the market, and she took her over and showed it, and they walked outside, and she's like, she was mad. She's like, why did you waste my time? That house is awful. She's like, what? It is this, 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 and this. She goes, that carpet is orange shag carpet from the 80s. She's like, it is exactly what you wanted.
But just the carpet was.
And she's like, no, it's not. I hate that house. That's the worst house you've shown us. And literally 3 doors down from the house they looked at was a friend of my mom's. And she called her. She said, hey, are you home? She said, well, yeah. She goes, can I bring my friend in? We just want to walk into your living room for 10 seconds. She was like, okay. So they walked over there. She introduced them. And she goes, see, this is beautiful. She goes, this is the exact home that's up the street.
You have
They
to.
switched the carpet.
Yes.
And they changed the paint.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, oh my God. And so, yeah, they bought it, switched the carpet, painted it,
And
loved
that's simple. Yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's one thing that I think that AI has been and can be really good, because I've used it myself I can stage a home, but I am not a good decorator for like my house, and I don't know where to put stuff. But I have used ChatGPT is my favorite. I've tried Gemini, but I've used ChatGPT to say like, okay, this is my front door. I want people to use this door versus this other door that's on the side. How do I and mock it up or whatever, and it does, and it looks great. I've done it in my living room. About how do I arrange, I have this really cool old washer that was Ryan's grandma's, and I'm like, I want to use this washer. How could I?
Where can I put it in the?
Yeah, where can I put it? What decorations do I? Because otherwise it's just an old washer, and that's in my brain. But ChatGPT helped me, and I was like, oh, put some flowers here, and it's so helpful. Now I get why we can't use it on the MLS because you're not, being
It's not a true representation of
right. But I think it can be very good, and that may be a tool that we see in the future, just individually with our buyers. Like, okay, you hated the way. What if? Because I've talked about before, you could knock that wall out if it's not, load bearing and stuff, or put a window through that wall because you want it open. You gotta explain or give them the vision, and I think you can use
take the picture,
AI
throw it in,
to say like, this is, a general, and they have to understand that obviously. It's fake, but I think it's a great thing.
I think it's a great idea to be able to help people visualize a change. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Okay, so now let's talk about the elephant in the county,
Oh,
the data center.
that is just
So
gonna
people are kind of freaking out about it. Some people, I think, don't even know for sure whether they're like for or against it. Um, but I just bring it up because I think people need to be aware and be informed, because there's lots of rumor and there's lots of also like, well, this person said this person says this, that it keeps moving on the map, but it's not set in stone yet.
Yeah.
The county commissioners have, they had an idea about doing an industrial park. We do not have zoning in the county.
Right.
And so they can't say what can go on in the land in the county, which we love as property owners.
Right.
I can have a junk car on my lot and not get, my mom was going to move in and we could put in a granny shed. But that's what we called it, but like a little tiny home.
Yeah.
You can do that, and those things are great, and everybody likes that. However, then when it's like, oh, but the neighbor,
Yeah.
we don't want them to have a junkyard or whatever. I don't see that really as a problem. However, this data center brings that up, right?
Yeah, it's one of those, I always tell people, I said, here's the cool thing. You're buying something in the county, which means you can do whatever you want. But remember,
So can your neighbors.
so can everybody else around you. But also, I mean, like when you're doing inspections, the guy that lived there before could do whatever he wanted too. So if he thought he was an electrician,
Right.
you need to check that out. But it's one of the great things, that freedom to use your land however you want to, because it's yours. There's no rules. There's no HOA.
Subject to also subdivision rules.
Yeah, depending on if
Covenants,
you're in
you know.
subdivision or HOA. But that flip side of it is other people can do that too, and it may be a junk car or it may be a data center. So it's one of those where do we draw the line, or what types of lines do we draw
Right.
in order to satisfy both? Because also and I don't know enough of the specifics, but how many jobs does it bring, diversification and that type of thing.
Right.
There's like 5 or 6 data centers proposed for Cheyenne.
Yeah. And they already have some.
But the one that they're talking about building now is a 10-year project. And I'm just like, what?
Also, Cheyenne is currently dealing with a housing crisis as well.
And water.
And water. And that was one thing, supposedly, again, everybody do your own research, form your own opinions, but like this one is supposed to drill down, get a well, use the water that supposedly somebody said is not good drinking water, but it can use it and then put it back down, and so it recirculates. There may be some evaporation. I don't know the things. But also, we have 50 homes on the market in all of Converse County.
Yeah.
Where are we and Glenrock doesn't have many hotel rooms. I think 19 or 14 right now. There's some RV parks. But where are we going to put the people?
Well, when we've got, just like when all of the oil and gas was going on in 14 and 15, it's still happening. But I remember that being the biggest deal was the rent prices. Yep. So because of the shortage, landlords can ask more rent.
Right.
But the
then
locals,
there are people who are just working the regular jobs
that are staying there, and then all of a sudden, their lease is up. Rent jumps by $700. They can't afford that. Contract workers can. They're going to pay for it, or the company's paying for it because they lease it out. And that's great for the property owner, but for how long?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then you put a strain on our emergency services and stuff. You put, extra thousands of people.
Yeah.
There's going to be more cars, more car accidents. Hopefully not more crime, but that does happen. I lived up in Sidney, Montana, Williston, North Dakota, 11 to 13. There was a murder, and it was it was wild, wild west. The oil field companies told their workers, tell your wives not to go to Williston unattended because there was so much,
Stuff
crazy crime and stuff. And I don't know that that's going to happen, but I'm just saying, like, you don't know if that many extra people do we have the support for that kind of stuff. Not saying that growth is a bad thing at all. I was just talking to Kevin Campbell, and he's like, Glenrock used to have 3 grocery stores, and I was shocked. But so growth isn't bad at all. I'm not saying that at all. I think it can be good. It's just that we need to plan for it and also figure out how to do it and not. And there will be growth. Growing pains, but also just pay attention because okay, the county commissioners thought that we could do it this one way. The attorney general said no, you can't find ways around zoning. So are they going to try and do some zoning? Are people going to want some zoning? Just need to pay attention. There is the Industrial Siting Council. And their public comment, I found out, I am going to try and follow this. So let me know if you guys want more information, because I'm trying to find exactly how the process works for not just the county, but the state. And their public comment session is after they've already approved all the application and stuff. And so that's something that I think maybe needs some work.
Yeah, that's
kind of others believe that as well, and I think that should be taken into consideration before it's.
Well, and I think it's one of those things that if you do have an opinion on it, you do need to get involved.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to get involved. You've got to follow up, find out what's going on, because a lot of times,
and be nice.
Civil, yes.
Civil. Yes, you don't have to agree, but like, don't just rip people.
Well, and that's what that's the thing is you got to be involved. You got to know what's going on, and you got to do it now.
Yes.
Because it can't be once they break ground, because then it's too late. Nothing can happen.
Yep.
So if it's a concern, get involved now. Talk to your representatives, talk to the county commissioners, talk to whoever, go to the meetings, follow up, and I know everybody's busy. Everybody's got lots of things going on. But if it's something that you really feel strongly about, make your voice heard. Get involved.
And even if the county commissioners can't do anything, or the state or whatever, until the application is like, even if they can't, I think still being involved now is still good, and involved in the whole process. Also ask questions.
Yeah, understand. Okay, this is the process. This is what's happening. This is the impact. Okay, cool. Are we good with that impact? No, we're not? Cool. So then what do we need to talk about as far as changing zoning, regs, that type of stuff? Because then it brings in a whole nother thing. And it's just, the more information you've got, the better you can articulate how you feel and make yourself heard.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I told somebody the other day, I feel like a grouchy old man, because the more I look into some of this stuff, the more frustrated I get. I'm like, why the hell is that allowed? Well, it's because nobody said anything. Or, I'll take personal, I wasn't paying attention when they did it. There was time for me to comment. I just chose not to. So now I got to use the time to figure out, okay, is this something I really feel strongly? Okay, well then let's find out what's going on and make it a point to get involved.
Yeah, and like you said, that sometimes it's hard to, because I've just been to meeting after meeting after meeting this week because I want to know what's going on. Because there was also some stuff, and it was like, oh, well, yeah, we talked about that. Well, who follows every little thing? You got the city, the town, the county, the school board, all the things. So it is kind of hard.
Well, and this one too, specifically, because it's not just Converse County, because it's going to straddle both Converse and
which
Natrona.
Is another complex thing.
So yeah,
because they all have to get on the same board.
All have to get on the same board, but Natrona has different laws and zoning than Converse.
Yep.
And that, back to the Wild West,
Mm-hmm.
every town's got a different law and a different sheriff. So, but trying
And
to get
I
it
did
all
ask,
through.
why would they want to straddle it? And part of it is because there are benefits for doing it in Converse County, meaning like, I don't know if it's tax benefits but it is a rural. It's kind of like, in my head, you know how we can get certain funding in different places, but the town of Casper isn't a rural development zone type of situation. So you can get different
tax breaks and all that type
either
of stuff.
tax breaks or loans or whatever the thing is if you're in a rural area. And then there's also benefit of being not so rural. Anyway, so
Yeah.
it's very complex, but it's not set in stone yet. So if you have questions, I have been following it a little bit. I don't know that I'm the person to ask, but I can at least point. This is where this is happening. This is, I can do that if that's something.
Yeah. Well, we'll just kind of keep updating too as things progress and keep you guys informed.
Because I think something like that can affect property values in good ways and bad ways. If you're right next to it, maybe they say it's going to be a lot quieter. Sometimes there's lots of things that we don't know.
Well, I had somebody ask me once about some mountain property, but it was around the windmills that were up there. I was like, okay, here's the thing. Value. I still think the value of your mountain property is the value of a mountain property. Absolutely. It's worth that. There's not a lot of competition. There's only so much land, especially in the mountains. However, that wind turbine, when I look out the window, instead of seeing peaks and seeing windmills, that's going to drastically reduce the buyers that are willing to pay what it's worth.
Right.
So,
which could affect not necessarily your value of what it would appraise for, but what you'll get for it.
Yeah, well, it's one of those. I always feel that the value is always the value. Time is the factor.
Yeah.
Are you willing to wait
until
to find somebody that agrees with you on that value, or is it something where you got to sell it now because the people that are looking now, they only think it's worth this because of what they have to look at.
Right.
So what they're willing to spend is X, where we're saying it's worth Y.
And see, I think with the data centers will be different. I don't think it's the same as that.
I don't think so either. I think it's just going to be...
Because it's more than just a pole or two in your view.
Yeah.
Because usually those are spread out. Sometimes they're not, but it's worth, not worth, that's not, but anyways, it is a bigger...
It's going to be
change.
Yep. It's going to be specific to the buyers.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have to see that.
Maybe the lights.
I get my 20 acres.
Right.
I'm still cool with it.
Yeah, and some
other
people will
won't.
be and some people won't. Yeah, it's just like anything else.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it could affect it.
But then I think all over the county and actually the area, if we bring in so many people, then we also need to figure out what we're going to do for housing
and lodging and
and
all
they're
the things
talking
that
about
you said.
maybe man camps and stuff like that, and that's fine for the temporary.
But what about long term?
Yeah. So anyways, all things to think about.
What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah.
Drop them in the comments below, and we'll do the best to answer them and see what happens.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks.